In this hopefully short demonstration, I'm going to show the usefulness of the Shift key on the keyboard and also on the Navigator panel. We'll start with the Shift key, and you'll find that on the left side of the keyboard, above Control and below the cap lock. Now, I'm going to try using the paintbrush. I'm going to draw a straight line across the screen. Well, it's not very straight, so let's try again. Equally bad. So if you really wanted to do a straight line, then you could hold down the Shift key, take the left mouse key, and there is your straight line. Now, if you're not careful, you hold down the Shift key, the line will chase you. But in fact, if you come over here and you press down the left mouse key, and now the Shift key, and you get a nice straight line. Okay, now we'll go back to the beginning on this a moment. There's also useful for circles and squares. I'm going to come up to the marquees up here, and I'm going to select the circle, the elliptical one. And the way you draw this is to get your left mouse key and drag that cursor out. And if you're skillful, you can get a reasonable circle there. But another way of doing it is, go back, is to hold down the Shift key as you're dragging, and perfect circle every time. And the same thing goes for the rectangular. So down here, choose the rectangular one. Try and do it by eye. Probably not bad, but hold down the Shift key and you get a nice square, square. Okay, so we'll move on from that, and I'm going to save those changes. We're going to come down to the photo bin and pick up this picture here. Now let's use a silly example, but this condo block wanted to have these downrights, these pipes here, painted a different color. They're sticking out because they're white. Okay, so first of all, we need to make the picture just that little bit bigger. And here we go. And good, there we are. And if you want to move the picture around, you can either go up and activate that icon or that one, or better still, hold down the Shift bar. The cursor becomes a hand shape, and you can move this screen wherever you want it. Okay, so now we're going to want to paint this black. So we come back to our paintbrush, and we want to change the color. That the black would be too much. So we get the color picker and choose something which would just be okay. So I would say something under here would be about right. Oh yeah, that'll be good. Okay, so now we go back to the paintbrush. We come to the top of this pipe. And whoops. You've probably got steadier hands than I have, but not really very successful. So let's get rid of that. Now, let's use the Shift key. So we come on top here. There we are. Hold down the Shift key, left click the mouse, and bring it all the way down here. Left click the mouse, and there's your pipe done. Okay, don't believe me, let's come over here and try the same thing. So left click the mouse, shift key, and there you are. You could drag the mouse down if you wanted to, and even if you go offline, it'll actually direct you back. But anyway, I think that will do. So now we're going to explore, hopefully. Yeah, we're going to explore something called the Navigator. And this is up here. You'll find it under Window, come down, and Navigator. And there it appears. And I will use it and then at the end explain how it works. But I'm going to do on this what we think is selective coloring, which is what we had at the last meeting. I wasn't there. And I think this would be a good example. So let's make the picture bigger. And this is where the Navigator will help you. There you are. You can bring it in or take it out as you want it. Now, I'm going to start by suggesting we get rid of this thing here, this plaque. And in order to do that, we'll be with the lasso. Okay, so we'll come over lasso, and you want the regular lasso there. And we will go around this, come up to the beginning. There we are. And we want to get rid of that, so we come up to Edit. You're going to fill that selection with Content Aware. And there it is gone. Now, to get rid of those marching ants, there's several ways of doing it. Pressing Escape will do it. Or you can press Control D for deselect. Or you can actually come up and get select and erase it. Anyway, so that's gone quite nicely. There's a little bit of a blip there. Okay. I'm going to now move up a little bit. So the space bar and up we come. And I think we'll get rid of these railings in the middle. And the best tool for that will be the polygonal lasso. So I'm going to come up here, left click the mouse, and come all the way down. Getting a little exuberant there, but okay, up we go. Cross. Now the next step can be a bit tricky. If you actually can get right on where you started it, a little circle will appear on this cursor, but I don't see it. Yeah. The polygonal will do that occasionally. If you go too quickly with it, it will sometimes just leave you stranded. Anyway, we'll surround again. I see the little circle there now. So that now selects that area. So let's go up to Edit again. Fill selection with Content Aware. And there the step's gone. The railing's gone. And we'll come up to Select, Deselect. There. A little bit of a bump on the steps, but I think that would be okay. Yeah, I could be really picky and do that, but no, I think we'll, for the sake of time. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, so back to the Navigator. That's good. And you can navigate your way around the picture in this blue box here. So blue box, red box, but anyway. So Anyway, we've gone out, zoom out a little bit more. And we're going to now do some selective coloring. So I'm going to duplicate this by dragging it up there. And I normally like to have a third one there just in case I slip up. And now we're going to take this one and make it into black and white and then put a layer on it. Okay, so let's get this one. We're going to come over. So that's highlighted. So this is the active window. So we're going to come up to enhance, convert to black and white, scenic landscape, that's as good as any. And I've already chosen that one. So, okay. So now the top one is black and white. The one underneath is color. So if I block this one off, there's the other one. So what we're going to do now is put on the layer mask on this one. And there it is. There it should be. There we are. And make sure that one highlighted. Now, if you paint over this with black, it'll reveal the picture underneath. So we're going to make sure that indeed black is the color. I'm going up to the paintbrush, and to make the cursor bigger, you use the square bracket keys and so you get to a useful size. Okay, so let's start revealing what's underneath here. Here's the lawn, here's the boxwood. Good. Good. Okay, so we'll quickly whip along these now. I think this is probably Escalonia, but it's a bit academic anyway. All right, now this side, the same thing. This is selective coloring. Good. That'll become. And okay. The boxwood again. This is particularly easy for this one because if I spill over the edge, then it's onto the grey concrete, which really doesn't stand out too much anyway for a black and white picture. And a little bit of lawn down here. Good. Okay, so that looks okay, but let's see what we can do with these trees up here. And oh yeah, they are green in spite of the cold winter. I'm trying to think of the name of that one at the moment. Okay. Another one here. Yucca, I think that's called. And finally this one up here. Good. So there we are. That's this the picture done. So now a very useful tool along this one. There is the information one, technically beyond me, I'm afraid. Navigator for getting your way around the picture. The favorites, this, for example, is if you want to use one of these down here, one of the effects, then you can choose your favorite one and shortcut you into it. Yeah, this is the history, and it tells you everything you've done from the beginning to the end. So, for example, here we are. Yeah. So, for example, when you open it, that's what we had. Now we haven't undone all the good. You just go right down to the end of history, and there it is. Now, if, for example, you said, that's okay, but I just want the Escalonia and the boxwood here, and the rest in black and white, then you can go back through history and just explore a little bit. And there we are. This is remaining, but at this juncture, we just started. So let's go back one more. That's it. So then you think, okay, well, that's everything there is now, I like that. Or no, that was a mistake. Let's go back to the beginning again, down to brush tools. And it's very useful. It'll take you forwards and backwards, and you can see the original picture. Okay, and then going back to this one, there's the histogram. If you're used to using levels up on here where it's imaging and, not imaging, what I'm looking for, enhance, and just lighting a color and levels, if you use that, this can be very useful for that one. Otherwise, it can be just more academic. Color switches if you want to get quick access to them. And this one is actions, and it's something which Photoshop unapologetically says it's a leftover from Photoshop itself, not Photoshop elements. But they basically, you'll often find it says it's just not available. So we'll go down, for example, and come to sepia toning with grain. So we'll just hit on that. Now proceed arrow. And it does its magic. And there you've got a sepia. I can't say how much like it, but, and if you don't like it, then you can just have to cross it out and hopefully go back. And, okay, so basically the navigator panel accessed up here through the window is very useful for history, particularly. The shift key will give you nice straight lines or squares and round circles. And I think that will be it. Now, see if I can start recording.